Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Mr. Cobalt, and in this video I'm going to show you how to name monatomic ions. So let's get into this. So what are monatomic ions? Well, as the name suggests, mono refers to one, atomic refers to atom. So we're talking about ions that are just one atom with a charge on it. And so we're going to name some of these ions, and I'll kind of explain using the rules of how to name your monatomic ions. So let's get into this. So we have Ba2 plus. So one of the things you got to remember is that if you have a metal, it's just the name of the element of which the metal is, right? So if you have iron, then it's going to be iron. If it's going to be potassium, then use the word potassium. You're not changing the name. You're not doing anything to the ending. You're just keeping the name the way it is. Now, if your metal ion tends to have multiple charges, if it doesn't have just one charge but several different charges, then you need to use a Roman numeral to indicate what charge is on that ion. And that charge, that Roman numeral, becomes part of the name of that metal ion. If it's a non-metal ion, usually those are going to have negative charges. So then the non-metal ion, you have the name of the element, but you also have to change the ending. You drop the ending and you add the IDE, the IDE ending. So let's show how this is done. So here we have Ba2 plus barium. Barium is a metal, it's a positive ion. You have a 2 plus charge. Here, barium is a representative metal. It's in group 2. We know that because it's got a 2 plus charge. And so because it's a main group element or main group element, a main group metal or a representative metal, it's going to only have one charge. So then the name of this ion is just the name of the element plus the word ion. So we would name this barium, which is the name of the element plus ion. So it's the barium ion. Okay, so next we have sulfur with a 2 minus charge on it. And so here it's a nonmetal. And so in this case, to name the anion, you have to take the name of the element, sulfur. You're going to have to drop the ending and then add the IDE. And so we know this is a negative 2 charge because it's in group 6. Group 6 elements tend to have a negative 2 charge. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down the name of the element, sulfur, and we have to drop the ending. So the UR ending gets dropped, and we're going to add to that IDE, and then we're going to add the word ion to it. So then this becomes the sulfide ion. So sulfide ion, again, negative ions, negative monatomic ions are going to have the IDE ending at the end of it. So this is the sulfide ion, not sulfate or sulfite, right? If it's sulfite, that's a polyatomic ion. That's for another video. I have another video on that, so you can watch that for polyatomic ions. But we're dealing here with monatomic ions, only one atom in the ion. Okay, so next we have Cr3 plus. So Cr is chromium. That is a transition element. And as what you should know about transition elements is that they tend to have multiple charges. There are exceptions that you should know for the transition elements. And there's also exceptions for the representative metals that we'll talk about in just a moment. So chromium is not one of the exceptions. So again, the rule is, or the understanding is, if you have a transition element or a transition metal, those tend to have multiple charges. So part of the name for the transition element is going to be a Roman numeral that indicates the charge. So again, as I said, when we're dealing with positive ions with metals, it's just the name of the element. So we're going to write down the name, chromium. And because there's a 3 plus charge, we're going to write the Roman numeral 3. And so this is the chromium 3 ion. So we add the word ion at the end. So this is the chromium 3 ion for Cr3 plus. So some exceptions that you should know with regard to the transition elements are things like silver. Silver only has one charge, mostly just one charge. So that's not going to have a Roman numeral. So you're not going to say silver 1. It's just silver. Another example is cadmium and zinc. Cadmium and zinc only ever have a +2 charge. So you're not going to call them zinc 2 ion or cadmium 2 ion. It's just the zinc ion. It's just cadmium ion. So those are the 3 main exceptions that you should know. So those are transition metals, but they don't have a Roman numeral because they only have one charge. Again, the Roman numeral is only used if your metal ion has more than one possible charge. That's true mainly for the representative metals. That's in groups 1 and 2, and 1A, 2A, and 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, right? So in the A groups. For the transition elements, those tend to have more than one charge. For the main group elements, there are exceptions. We'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, so here we have magnesium 2 plus. Magnesium is in group 2A. It's a representative element, so therefore it's going to have only one charge. And so here it's got a 2 plus charge. We don't need a Roman numeral. Again, it's a metal, so we're just going to write down the name of the Mg, which is magnesium. Magnesium. It's got a 2 plus charge on it. That's because it's in group 2, so we should know it has a 2 plus charge on it. And we're not going to use a Roman numeral, so we're just going to tag on the word ion. So magnesium ion. Next, we have F with a minus charge. F is for fluorine. This is a negative ion. It's an anion. So here we're going to want to drop the ending and add the IDE ending. So we're going to write down the name, fluorine. Okay, so then again, we want to drop the INE ending, and we're going to add IDE. And here, just give me a moment. So then we're also going to add, so this is going to become FL fluoride plus the word ion. So fluoride ion. So notice the IDE ending matches with negative ions. So negative ions are going to have the IDE ending for the monatomic ions. And finally, we have SN2 plus. So again, this is a metal ion. So we're going to have the name of the element. We're not going to change the ending. We don't change the ending for metal positive ion. So this is going to be tin. Now here, you'll notice that this is not a transition element. It is a representative or main group element. However, so we would expect that this would have no Roman numeral because it's a main group element. We just said that transition elements have Roman numerals. Main group elements don't. However, there are exceptions. So as we saw with regard to chromium and where's the other one? Chromium and I forget where's the other one. Um, I mentioned silver and cadmium and zinc, right? So chromium will have a Roman numeral. Most transition elements will have a Roman numeral, but there are exceptions that won't. So on the same example, the same side, we have most of the case, your main group elements, your main group metals will not have a Roman numeral because they only have one charge. Tin is one of those exceptions. Tin can have multiple charges. So even though this is a main group element, it's going to have a Roman numeral because there are multiple possible charges. In this case, it has a 2 plus charge. So we are going to put a Roman numeral 2 and then plus the word ion. So then this is the tin 2 ion. Another example is lead. So lead is another ion in the main group elements, and it's another metal in the main group elements that will have multiple charges, and so lead will also have a Roman numeral in the name. So that's it with regard to naming your monatomic ions. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell when you do. Make sure you click all so you'll be notified by all the videos I put out. And finally, put a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Ask me questions. I would love to hear from you. If you have an idea for a video, if there's a topic you want me to cover, or if there's a problem you want me to go over, I would love to do that for you. Thanks for joining me and have a great day.